everyone. Welcome to another episode of Words of Heart. In today's episode, we have the privilege of speaking with Rick Ornelas. Thank you for joining me today, Rick.
Hi, Dion. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on Words of Heart.
Awesome. So, Rick, if you could tell my listeners a bit about yourself, that would be great.
Well, I do have an interesting story, but I guess just for them to know me a little better. So I'm an author. I wrote my first book last year, 12 Hours of Heaven, Lessons for a Better World. And there was a definite journey to get to that. But out of that journey, I founded an organization called I Spark Change, which is about connecting those that spread positive change throughout the world and spark change within the world. So that's my main focus. And then other than that would be that I'm, family man, been married to my beautiful wife for 25 years and have three wonderful daughters that range from, my two youngest they're 17 and 20, but they're about to turn in a week, turn 18 and 21. And then my oldest is 24. But they're, my family's my life, aside from, my mission and what I'm working on.
Awesome. So, you mentioned you've written a book. Trying to figure out the right specific name you just called it. Was it Inspired to Change or Change? Can you reiterate the title again?
Oh. Yeah, the title of the book is 12 of World. And I wrote that last year. It's a story that I have had in my head for 20 years, but I wrote it last year when we had entered into quarantine and the world was shutting down and things were not great for a lot of people. And I started to get anxious and fearful and all the uncertainty. I want to bring some inspiration to a lot of the world, bring some inspiration and myself, right? And myself when I decided to write.
Rick, I got a lot of technical issues as you were explaining. So, I wish there was a way I could fix that, but there's no way I can fix that. You were explaining how it was a 20-year journey to writing your book, correct?
Yes. So the story came into my, I had the idea for the story 20 years ago after my wife and my two daughters at the time, just two of them were 1 and 4 at the time. We were in a major car accident where I'd lost control of the vehicle in the rain and we spun out of control and went across 4 lanes one way and then back across 4 lanes the other way. And then off the shoulder and up an embankment and hit a wall and flipped over and landed back on the wheels. And miraculously, we were all completely unharmed, even though the car was totaled and the roof was smashed down and the car was full of glass and dirt. And we were all unharmed. And at the time, my mom had said, your guardian angel protected all of you. Your guardian angel is the reason that you're all okay. And at that time, it made me reflect on life and to put more value into life and my family and everything. And with thinking of the guardian angel is where I had the idea for my story, which is about an angel that is sent down from heaven. And he helps 10 different individuals with the biggest challenges they have in their lives. And so I saw that. I mean, the story, was evolved from what I had been through, with the accident.
I truly admire you for writing a book and it's such a profound topic, having a guardian angel seeking in your time of need. I'm a Christian, so I truly believe in spiritual principles and God and the whole watching over you concept. And the fact that you're willing to write a book in regards to that and guardian angel coming in to help others in their circumstances is really inspiring. I don't think there's many books like that out there. And how has it helped, considering you wrote it during the pandemic? Has it helped you reach more people? How has that exactly impacted, considering you chose to write it during this unfortunate season we're in?
Yes, and that's an excellent question, Dion. And I think the big thing for me is, like I was heading into that kind of dark place with the fear and anxiety, as I was mentioning earlier, right? I was heading into that place, and I felt that a lot of people were stuck in that same place, that there was all this uncertainty of what's going to happen tomorrow, and what's going to happen with the virus and all these things. And then there was all these other, issues going on with racism and hatred and all this stuff in the world. And I was like, man, this is just like, things are going bad. They're no, not headed the way that they should be. And I'm a very positive person and, love everybody and everything. And it was just not a comfortable place. And so I wanted to write about something positive and something inspiring. And during the time I was writing, I'm writing about this spiritual content with the angel and him helping these individuals. And without giving a lot away, he's sent down from heaven and he gets trapped in an elevator with these people for 12 hours. And that's where he's able to help them with their different challenges. And they all have different challenges in life. And just for that 12 hours, he's able to help them in that short period of time. And what I wanted to show through the writing is that it is really as simple as that, is making some small changes that can have big impacts. And during my time of writing, I started to get really spiritually connected and inspired myself, to where I felt, divine inspiration. I felt the story pouring out of me and my writing just flourished. And I was writing, 4 or 5 times the number of words in a day that I had started with. And during that period, I started having all these dreams and ideas and visions and all this, these flourish of creativity of ways that I could help others and inspire others and give them hope. And that's where I created the I Spark Change, the organization, the community, the movement, to try to provide some hope for people and empower them and show them, look, you're not alone. You can, just in the simplest of actions and just some little simple thing that you do on a daily basis, you can impact the world. It has a ripple effect. And since then, I finished, the book came out in October, and I Spark Change, I created that in October. And since then, the community has flourished. We have a website and Facebook group and everything, and it's grown substantially. And I've connected with people from all over the world, in Ireland and Kenya and Canada and the UK and all different states, and in South America. And all these people, we share that common belief that, the world can be improved. And so, to answer your question, I guess the long answer to your original question is that it has inspired people. I'm continuing to work on that every day with I Spark Change, and to try to inspire people and to empower them, and to keep spreading that positivity and love and hope for others.
I love your overall mission to inspire change and share positivity with others. And that's a really huge part to why I started this podcast to begin with, because we are in an unfortunate season with the pandemic. Though things seem to be looking up because there is a vaccine, some people are still having difficulty with their emotions, and they're quarantined, or they're isolated, or they may have lost a loved one in relation to this pandemic. So if my podcast could offer some sense of comfort, or a virtual hug, or just some type of positivity, just like a source of happiness in some way to help them get through this unfortunate season a little easier, then I want to be able to do that. So I truly admire you for your whole Spark for Change organization. And I've also sort of gone through a similar mantra myself, which is being a warrior for change.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
I wholeheartedly agree with you as far as small things inspiring big, impactful moves in the world right now.
Yeah, and I, applaud you for doing the same type of thing, right? For taking action, because so many people, they just figure like, oh, I'm just one person. What can I do? It's not going to make a difference, right? My voice is just one voice. It's not going to make a difference. Let the government take care of it, or let these big, huge organizations take care of it. I'm just myself. But for every one of us, like, yourself or myself, that takes some kind of action, right? To spread that positive change, it does make a difference, and I've seen it, and I literally see it every day. And, that's what I want to continue to spread, and folks like you continue to spread, is that, yeah, it really does is impactful. Even if by us talking here, right, and your show airs, even if it makes a difference in one person's life, right, then we've had an impact, right? Or even if nobody listened to it at all, but it impacts both of us, right? It impacts you or I in some way, then it's made a difference, right? And that's the beauty of, taking action and doing something to help others.
Absolutely. So, are you in the works of writing another book? I know you kind of mentioned a bit about it, even though there was a lot of technical issues. So I'm not sure if my audience got the whole title of your first book, but um, if you are writing another book, can you shed some light onto that?
Yes. When I finished writing 12 Hours of Heaven Lessons for a Better World, I always planned on writing a second one. And that one, I've started in the early phases of that. It's 12 Hours of Heaven, Time on Earth is the working title for that. Hopefully that ends up being a title. Sometimes it doesn't end up, but let's hope. Um, because I always felt there was more to the story, right? To continue the story. Because when I had the idea 20 years ago for the book, I'm sitting there one day in my car, and my mom had given me a little angel pin to put on the visor, after the accident. And I'm looking at that one day and kind of daydreaming. And then I had the idea for the story. It just hit me in my head like a movie, like I had just watched it as a movie, right? And so I felt, hey, well, there's more to this movie. Like there would be a sequel to this movie. And that's where I have the second book to come out. And then after I finished writing, when I started to share about the book and about I Spark Change and everything with different people, I'm sitting there speaking with someone one day, and as we're talking, and she's sharing how, she likes some of the lessons in the book and is using them with her boys and everything, and how, they're fundamental lessons for humanity, right? Because it's basic things like practicing gratitude and loving and serving others, and I mean, it's all stuff that is all, lessons that we've learned, or at least were taught 2,000 years ago, right? And so they've been around for a long time. Um, but as we're talking about that, I the idea for 5 more books came into my head for 5 more books in the same 12 Hours of Heaven series, but different areas that they can touch, that the angels can touch, different lives and everything. And so I have a lot of work ahead. I figure I'd be writing for years, but that's one of my goals is to get to write all those, get them all out there.
Oh, that's just so amazing. And I'm like enjoying this conversation so much, even though we had so many
Me
technical
too.
issues in the beginning. Um, I just admire your overall vision so much, and it's so desperately needed right now. And as you're saying, you want to continue the story, and in all actuality, we all have a story, and it still continue to be written.
Yeah.
I thought I understood my story pretty well until I got diagnosed with diabetes at the start of the pandemic a year ago. That was a chapter plot twist, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I write poetry, so I understand the writing and emotional depths behind it.
Hmm.
That was a plot twist I didn't see coming, but God's like, hey, I know this is a plot twist, but it serves meaning and value, because if he hadn't diagnosed me with diabetes, I could have died. So
Yeah. Wow.
this was God's way of giving my life more purpose and giving me a chance to live my life or continue living my life.
Yeah.
Um, like your story isn't finished, and if he had diagnosed me, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah. And that it's great that you have that outlook, because I believe the same thing. I believe that anything that happens, that it happens for a reason, and that anything can be an opportunity. That even if when the pandemic first hit and I started to go to a bad place, and then I I realized I'm like, no, I can't do that. I need to use it as an opportunity, right? All of a sudden I have something I hadn't had previously. I have all this time. I have all this extra time on my hands. And that time was so valuable to, get the writing done and, to work on all these things. And, just like your situation with, being diagnosed, is about seeing that as, hey, now this is, I wouldn't be here otherwise. And so that it happened for a reason. And, you take the blessing, you see it as a gift, right? And you see it as a blessing to, um, to help others or inspire others or to make yourself better, or, whatever you do with the gift. And so many people, they see things, they don't see things like that as a blessing, right? They see things like that as a curse, or,
Yeah.
oh yeah, now I have to watch what I eat, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And it's like, no, it's a whole new world that it opens up for you, when you have that different mindset, that shift in mindset. Um, and hopefully more people start to look at things that way.
That's
So
my goal. To have people have a better mindset. Because we're human, we do have our flaws, but I think if you look at it through a positive lens, it will help. Um, it'll be easier.
yeah,
Not perfect, but slightly easier.
yeah, because it gives you that's a perfect way to put it, that positive lens, because it's easy for a lot of people to go the other direction, right? To look at something with a negative lens or in a negative light, or look for, be like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, like, oh, woe is me, it's just another bad day. It's raining, and um, and then your brain is going to feed our brains feed us more of what we feed it, right? So if we constantly think, oh, it's terrible, my situation's bad, situation sucks, I'm miserable, whatever, well, guess what, you're going to get more misery and pain, and your situation is going to continue to suck. But if you say, oh no, I'm going to use this as, this is positive, I'm going to look through the positive lens and everything's going to be great, then your brain's going to keep feeding you that yeah, it's positive, yeah, you're great, you're strong, you can do all this. um, and so, for you doing that, I mean, that's awesome, because you're going to get what you put in, what you get out of it, what you put into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do have that icebreaker question. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stump you. Many guests enjoy this
Hopefully.
question. So we shall see. If you could have any superpower that's not flying, or because I have to add this because people use this as an answer all the time now, so I have to take it away too. That is not flying or teleporting.
Okay.
You can't pick either of those. What power would it be? Not flying or teleporting. You can't pick either of those.
Okay. So I'm not a Marvel superhero, so I can't do any of the. My daughter would love this question. She would love the superhero question. Um, the one I will go with is, I will say, the power for everyone to believe that they can um, be their best possible version of themselves. Because a lot of us, and myself included, at times will be comfortable and be just, oh, I'm comfortable, I'm okay, I put food on the table, I have a job, or I have a place to live. Like, they're just kind of comfortable, like status quo, like, oh, it's not terrible, it's not great, it's okay, everything's okay, how are you doing? I'm fine, right? Just basic. And we weren't put on this earth, God didn't create us to just be fine, okay. I mean, we're created to have, these beautiful, abundant lives, and to live to our fullest potential. And there's, hundreds of passages in scripture that speak to that. And that was what I would want my superpower to, be able to go up to anyone and just like go ding on the top of their head. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I could, do anything I want. I can create anything I want. I can be anyone I want. I can be as successful as I want, whatever. And I think that would make the world, an amazing place.
That's an amazing answer. And that's the joys about this question. Many people approach it differently. They choose either a comical answer or a sincere answer or a power they already possess in some form because we all have powers
Yeah,
one way or another. And it's up to us to use those powers to help others.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
my power, it's not exactly a power yet. I feel like it will be a power in the future, would be the power for this podcast to be heard across other galaxies that have yet to be discovered.
Oh, cool. I like that. That's very unique. That's totally different, than anything I would have ever thought of. Yeah, that's really cool.
I used to
I'm
have a,
guessing you're,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm guessing you are a fan of, like the Marvel or DC or, like that kind of stuff.
that's the thing. I'm not a huge Marvel head. I'm not
No,
a huge Marvel head. I mean, I've seen Mrs. Marvel, which obviously is a female character movie, but I'm not a huge Marvel head.
no,
Some of my
interesting.
family members are. I'm not. I mean, I've seen some of the probably the first sequels to, well, Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man, Black Panther, Wakanda, all that good stuff. But all those other ones like Avengers and now the whole Spider-Man and all the Thor or whatever it's called, I'm not really into that.
Yeah, you're more into the superpowers, into, using your superpower, I guess.
Yes. And anything sci-fi related like Star Wars and Star Trek, which are two different awesome brackets in the universe, which can't even compare to each other.
Yes, I agree. Love those both as well. Yeah. So you're more about, being using the force, being a Jedi for
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. Yes. I'm into the Force, not the whole Infinity Stone or whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
gotcha. That's good.
Well, we can keep talking powers and superpowers and how they are all day long, but we're at the end of this awesome conversation, even though it was really difficult in the beginning, which I am so sorry
No big deal.
about that. Do you have any social plugins to tie in for my audience where they can find your book? Are you gonna start producing a movie or something? Give us the inside scoop as to how my audience can get in contact with you.
Yeah, so thank you for asking. The best place is just to go to isparkchange.com. So it's I Spark Change. In fact, I have my I Spark Change t-shirt on right now. Spark Change
Awesome.
with our world logo there. But yeah, they go to isparkchange.com. They can sign up to join the community. They'll get a free download for 25 creative ways to spread positive change. Easy, 25 simple, easy ways that anybody can spread positive change. Um, our Facebook group is iSpark Change, Instagram, iSpark Change, Twitter, all of them, YouTube channel, all iSpark Change. If you join or your Instagram or Facebook or anything, you'll see daily positive information, daily motivation. You'll see, different tips on optimism, positivity, and gratitude, and all those types of things. Um, and just since you said about the movie, that is one of my goals, one of my dreams is that, 12 Hours of Heaven will be made into a movie. I do have some folks reading it that, are screenwriters. So hopefully,
Yay.
because I envisioned it as a movie when I came up with the idea. Um, and then, we're just growing the community, as big as we can. To join costs nothing, takes nothing, just to say that, hey, I commit to, to spreading positive change in the world, right? I commit to doing my part. That's all it takes from anyone to do, to join. And then the last thing I'll throw out is that next month, through iSpark Change, we're launching a 5-day challenge called Level Up Your Life, for, Gen Z, young adults, young millennials, because they've been hit the hardest by the pandemic and stress and anxiety and, kind of like that getting stuck feeling, getting kind of in that meh feeling, they've been stuck there. So we have a 5-day, challenge that we're doing for Gen Z that'll launch in a month. But yeah, we'll share about that on social media and everything. But yeah, I'd love, anyone, any of your audience to come and see what iSpark Change is all about and hopefully get some inspiration.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me today, Rick. This was an amazing conversation. I'm pretty sure it's going to spark some sense of change into someone's life in some way.
I really hope so. Thank you for having me, John. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. To all my listeners, stay healthy, stay safe, be the spark, let that change in whatever you feel. Please don't keep your spark hidden. Light it up with a spark of change. And until next time, bye.